In this video, we'll talk about anchoring bias. Anchoring bias refers to people's tendency to be overly influenced by the first piece of information. The initially presented information disproportionately influences our decision making, thereby anchoring our decision making, even when the anchors are irrelevant, arbitrary, or misleading. In an experiment, two groups of high school students were given 5 seconds to work on a math question. The first group was asked to estimate the answer to a math question you see on the left of the screen. The second group was asked to estimate the answer to a math question on the right of the screen. 5 seconds were not long enough to actually do the math. The students had to guess. The two groups' answers should have been at least roughly the same, but they were not. The first group's median answer was 2,250. The second group's median answer was 512. The correct answer is at the bottom of the screen, which is 40,320. The reason the students in the first group guessed a higher number was that they used 8 as an anchor, while the students in the second group used 1 as the anchor. People could be anchored with information that is totally irrelevant to the problem they are being asked to solve. Both experts and non-experts are highly susceptible to the anchoring bias. In an experiment, two groups were shown a house and given an information-rich package about its features. Then they were asked to appraise its value. Experienced realtors were in the first group. They were considered as experts. In the second group, undergraduate business students were considered as non-experts. The only difference in the information provided to the two groups were the list prices. Some were anchored high, others were anchored low. The results? The estimates of both groups were significantly influenced by the anchored list price. The only notable difference was that the realtors, unlike the students, denied being influenced by the anchor. Judicial sentencing decisions should be guided by facts, not by chance. However, judges' sentencing decisions are influenced by anchor as irrelevant as a roll of dice, even when judges were told that the prior information was randomly generated. In one experiment, 39 legal professionals, mostly judges, had to impose a sentence in a fictitious case concerning a woman who had stolen items from a store for the 12th time. In the first group, participants were given a prosecutor's sentencing demand, which was high, 9 months on probation. In the second group, participants were given a prosecutor's sentencing demand, which was low, 3 months on probation. The participants were told that the prosecutor's sentencing demand had been determined randomly and did not represent any judicial expertise. You now probably have an idea of how judges' decisions were influenced by the anchor. In Group 1, the judges exposed to the high demand give higher sentences than those in Group 2 exposed to the low demand. The sentences in the first group were over 6 months, about 2 months longer than the one in Group 1. The prosecutor's sentencing demand was the anchor in judges' sentencing decision. Judges' expertise and experience did not reduce this anchoring bias. In personal injury cases, the more compensation you request, the more likely that jurors and judges believe the defendant caused your injuries. The larger amount of compensation is awarded to you. anchoring effect can be especially powerful in negotiations, where the first offer has a strong influence on counteroffers and on the final settlement. When the first offer is aggressive and is quickly retracted, it is called the phantom anchor. For example, someone selling a car might say, I was going to ask $8,000, but I've listed for $6,000. The aggressive and quickly retracted first offer of $8,000 is a phantom anchor. The phantom anchor exerts a strong pull because even though the initial figure is quickly withdrawn, the listener is unable to unhear it. Salespeople routinely deploy a phantom anchor. In a series of experiments involving simulated negotiations for cars, restaurant rental spaces, and salaries, phantom anchors generated favorable financial results for the negotiators who used them. However, using phantom anchors can come across as manipulative by those who are on the receiving end. The trade off between financial gain and manipulation indicates that the phantom anchors should be used with caution. In this video, we talked about the anchoring bias. What is anchoring bias? It's people's tendency to be overly influenced by the first piece of information. That first piece of information is the anchor, and the anchor can be irrelevant to the decision. Now it is time for you to provide an example of the anchoring bias and reflect on how it influences decisions made by you or the people around you.